Good morning, everyone. My name is James Mitchell. Thank you guys for coming out this morning. And get right to the chase. I'm sure you guys are all wondering why I called you here today. Today's evaluation day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm doing a presentation today on replacing hardware on the iPhone 6 Plus. By a show of hands, how many people have an iPhone? 2, 4, 5. And all those that have Androids? Oh man, Androids win. That's hard. All right. Well, sorry, I'm not teaching you guys how to take apart your Androids today, but for those of you who have iPhones, pay attention. So basically, with the cell phone business in today's world, I mean, we've got $10.7 billion in repairing and replacing iPhones. So 26% of the iPhone users have a cracked screen. And of course, cracked screens, seems to be quite an epidemic. How many of you, by a show of hands, have dropped your cell phone? And out of those, how many of you cracked your screen? Yeah, probably about half or more. It says 15% of iPhone users currently have a cracked screen. So, and like 79% of Americans wait over a week to repair their iPhones. I see several people walking around using their iPhones with that cracked screen. 20% can't take photos. There's 29% that can't see some letters or use some letters. Can't use apps. There's 27% of them that can't use apps. And then 20% can't unlock the screen. I'll show you guys a little something that maybe some of you already know about the iPhone, that if you do have a problem with opening the screen, or maybe your home button doesn't work. While iPhone users, they don't want to put them in a case. How many of you guys have a case for your iPhones? Okay, and how many do not have a case? I saw that hand trying to go. So yeah, shockingly, only maybe one person out of the group not having them. Reasons why people don't use them: 25% are just too cheap. 48% it's a style or conscious thing. They want that sleek little new-looking device in their hand. 27% are just too lazy. So for those of you who have a case of it, great for you guys. Speaking of phones and everything, anybody recognize this old bad boy? Don't raise your hand. You're too young to know what this is. So this is an old Motorola. This U.S. cellular phone actually still works. It'll still power on. So it won't work on the network, of course. Any of you guys in here have the protection plan that's offered by either Apple or by your carrier? 2, 3, 4. And so, I've never invested in that, but luckily enough, knock on wood, I've not broken mine. So it is a good investment if you have an issue or if you break it, because they will repair it or replace it for you. I actually had one that died completely and got it replaced through Apple, $380 for a new phone. So, okay, that part messed up on. That's where my problem is. All right, I'm going to switch over and show you guys a quick demonstration here. So, as you can see here, maybe, you guys see that cracked screen on there? So basically this iPhone, and right now you can see that it has no home button in there, but I've put this nice little touch assistance on there, so you can actually use that to be able to activate it, go in and get to your apps, get to everything. So with that you can operate it. I'm going to power her down because we're going to open this bad boy up. And of course, as we've all learned, we need to ground off. So I'm plugging in. I've made myself a makeshift little ground here. Put my static fan on. You have to bear with me because I'm usually sitting down when I'm doing these repairs. So see how good I can do standing up. Has anyone in here ever replaced any hardware on an iPhone? One person? Okay, so basically just quickly show some tools. You can actually get this little toolkit from Walmart, believe it or not. Basically comes with all the little tools you'll need to open up an iPhone. Also, this one here is available at Walmart. This one I had to get because there's a remnants of the Y000 kit. That it's a bit that you have to be able to take off some pieces inside of the iPhone 7 Plus. But today we're working on a 6 here. It's the 6 Plus. You can see there right where, and actually I'm not going to have to be grounded for this part, but show you guys a little better. Can everyone see those two little screws down in there? So I'm going to take those out and get in here and get to work. These are the little hex bits. You've got to have this to get into the iPhone because these two little screws are a small hex bit. And as you can see around the tables there, I don't know if everyone's got, I placed some actual little screens. Most of them are cracked. There are a few that if they're in a box, you open them up. There's one that the top's completely cracked off of it. But those are some screens that I brought to provide, let you guys see them actually cracked, broken. I've actually got a couple of new screens in there that you'll be able to see also. If you pass those around, let others see them. Great. So, key thing with working with these tiny little screws is making sure to keep up with them also. So I've got the two little screws out, and normally at this point, if it was a brand new phone that has never been opened, you'd need like a little razor blade thing like this, a little guitar pick, something that you can get down into the sides. You want to put that down in and be able to get that and work it down into the actual frame of the phone, like that, and work it around. So that way, because one that's never been opened before, it has adhesive in there that helps to make them water resistant. But with this one, I've actually had the opportunity to be in this bad boy before. So it's opened up to a degree. As you can see, I'm just tend to work with my fingernails, which is kind of a tool that everybody has, you know. So, get in there, you can just open her up, and she just opens all the way like this. Now I've got a little box here. That's the iPhone box. Nice little easy trick I've learned is to take a rubber band, put that around your screen, and it'll hold it up open for you. So that way while you're inside working, you don't have to hold that also. Just the standard little screwdriver bit. Take out these inside screws. Everyone see this little plate right here? So that plate actually covers your battery connection. And with that, so I've plugged in now. I'm connected so that I'm grounded. First thing you want to do is take that off so that you can get to the battery. Key thing is placing your screws in your work area so that way you know exactly where they go back, because these screws are different lengths, and if you put them in the wrong place you could damage your motherboard. So you take that little plate off, and then with this handy little tool here, you get in here, disconnect your battery, so that now that iPhone will not power up, has no power source. And this up here is your plate that covers your connecting screen connectors. It's actually got your ribbon that comes in off of the screen, and there are 2 connections on that. Oops. Noticed this the other day when I was working, my trusty little tool is not holding my bits in as well, so I may have to invest in a new one. So I'm taking these 5 screws apart, taking them off, making sure to lay them over here in the order in which they came off so that when I put them back. So basically underneath here, you guys see those little connecting cables in there? Everybody see those way down there? So basically we just need to get in here. There's this connector right here. This one here. And one last one right back here. Alright, so with that, we are disconnected with the old screen. So what I'm going to do is take this old screen off, set that aside. Got a nice new screen here. Put this baby back on here. Alright. Let's see what we're doing here. So I'm going to turn this light on here to give myself a little more light on the subject. And with that in place, so you've got here again to go back on. Now with these, of course, you want to use light pressure. You want to make sure to find your actual connection before you press them in firmly. Sometimes it's very easy, sometimes it's a little harder. In the interest of time, how are we doing on this? I'm going to run you guys over. Okay, we got time. So, as we've all been watching, does anyone have any questions so far? One connection back. I actually, believe it or not, did a complete iPhone 7 replacement the other day within an hour. That's the screen, but it's a little more complex than this, as that when you replace your home button, you have to actually snake it out through the down through the hole instead of just coming right up off of the actual screen. Several little screws. All right, so press all of them firmly. Connect in here. Let's see. See if the little iPhone's kicking back up. Always do this to test the screen to make sure that it's working. You don't want to get all those plates screwed back on and put everything in and it not work. So everything seems to be working. Screen's good. Let's see if Wonderful Touch ID will work. And yes, it is. So with that, now with that touch assist, I can actually go away from that. That's gone. So basically that's how you replace the screen on an iPhone 6 Plus. If you guys, while you're actually doing your surveys and everything, I will take the time to slap these screws back in. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you ever have to calibrate a new screen?
The new screens, so far, I've been lucky that I've never had to calibrate one. Usually it's all preformed if you get a good screen. Now, if you get a cheap screen, these little knockoffs, there's times when I've had troubles, even something as simple and as minute and thin as a piece of tape, or something as thin as like this, can cause hot spots or cause the screen to not work at all if you have that inside. So that's a great question, because sometimes, like the adhesive, if you've gotten some of that into a place inside and you close the screen back up, it could cause a spot in that screen to not work correctly. Go ahead.
So when they believe you do that, it's waterproof.
Mm-hmm.
So after you take the screen off, is that sealant on there, where you got to really watch your phone to make sure you don't get any water droplets on it to seep back in?
That's an excellent question. Actually, they are water resistant up to a certain depth or a certain time frame. They're not waterproof, but once you do break that seal, it's no longer water resistant. And it's certainly not going to be covered by Apple once you've opened it, if you have. Now, that is a good question that I'll have to ask a Apple technician, because if it's an Apple certified technician that opens it up and changes it, do they put this adhesive seal back in and make that a true form to where it will be water resistant? I'm not for sure on that, but if you do it yourself, you can be assured that it is no longer water resistant. So this one no longer is. Typically, the 7s and above are the ones that are truly advertised as water resistant. The 6s, I do not believe they were water resistant, waterproof. As people, we've tried to advertise it as waterproof, but it's really not. It'll only withstand a certain depth and a certain time frame before it will take in water. Any other questions?
Have you done an Android before, or are you just strictly Apple?
Only thing I've ever done on an Android is replacing the back screen, which is very simple. It's just a matter of heating it up. It's an adhesive that holds on the glass case, heating that up, removing it, and then placing another one on. No, Androids I've not worked on. I've primarily been iPhones.
So Androids are the best.
Well, and this is just my opinion. Androids are good phones. I don't have any problems with them at all. It's just a matter of the operating system and whether you can navigate in it. I think once you started as an Android user, you prefer that and you stay with that. Same thing with an iPhone. The reason that I stick with iPhones is because iPhones resell easier. I've had Androids that I've not been able to give away. I've literally had to trade them, put them in with like a laptop to trade them for an iPhone. But with iPhones, I can sell them, just about any day of the week. So, but yeah, it's just a preference thing, really, just like IBM or PC and Mac. But great observation there. Anyone else? Anyone have any questions? No? All right. Well, that concludes my presentation. I'm going to switch back over so you can see my slide. Maybe. There we go. All right. And thank you so much for coming out.